What's up, YouTube? It's the Action Figure Grader coming back to you with another vintage collection market update. We've got early TVC, we've got late TVC, we've got SDCC exclusive, as you can see in this thumbnail, and a lot of vehicles have sold here recently. I sound like a used car salesman. As always, thank you to my Patreon supporters. You guys get my videos 24 hours, early access. Patreon.com/actionfiguregrader is where you go to sign up. Let's dig in to some awesome vintage collection items. We're going to start with the vehicles. And the first one is a mint and sealed box land speeder. And this is advertised as the Canadian, which I just now noticed. I don't know about that. I have no idea. This one is open, though. And this one sold for $94.99 plus $20 shipping. And I don't know if there's any differences to the packaging versus the U.S. version, but it's labeled as the Canadian. Who knows? I have no idea. I can't keep up with all the different variations. Next up was the AT-AP, the all-terrain attack pod from the Revenge of the Sith. This one has the Darth Maul offer sticker on it, and this one was mint in sealed box. This one sold for $150 plus $25 shipping. The photos are a little cloudy, but it does look really mint based on the photos. There might be a couple of minor scuffs there on the right-hand side, as you can see. But overall, very, very clean. I love the packaging on that one. In a different world, with more space, I would have this in my collection. Next up is another one I would love to have. This is beautiful. This is the TIE Interceptor. And this also was mint in seal box. And this one included the mailer box. So here's that white mailer box where it was packed inside. But a beautiful example of the mint and seal box vintage collection TIE Interceptor. That one sold for $250. Free shipping. Big boy number, but it was pretty immaculate looking. Next up is another one that we know is very expensive, and that's the Smuggler's Run Star Wars Galaxy exclusive. I think it's an exclusive. It might have been available on like Hasbro Pulse or something, but gorgeous example, mint and sealed box of the Falcon. This one sold for $600 plus $10 shipping. That seems to be kind of the going rate, $550 to $650, depending on, you know, shipping and things like that. But this one only had $10 shipping. I can promise you that with today's inflation, that this thing cost a lot more than $10 to ship. But it was $600 plus $10 shipping. You might see it for $550 plus, you know, $50 shipping, something like that. But they all seem to go right around that same price point. Next up was the reissue of Boba Fett's Slave One. This is not the original version that was, I believe, an Amazon exclusive. This is the reissue. This one sold for $205.91 free shipping. One of them is still available. One of them has sold. That's creeped up just a little bit. It was kind of going for $150 plus shipping, so maybe $205 free shipping is about the same price. I don't know. But that one looked nice and clean, mint and sealed box. We also had a mint and sealed shipper case Razor Crest, and this is another one that seems to be hovering right around $600. One bid on this one, $600 plus $30 shipping, but it was still factory sealed. The box looked to be in pretty good shape overall. You never know what you're going to find. You know, some of these boxes, you know, they have a little ding like you can see down there. You don't know. I don't know how it's packed inside this shipper case. I assume there's some padding or something to protect it in the event it gets damaged in shipping, but you know, you can also see a crinkle that on the lower right-hand corner of that shipper box, but that one, nevertheless, sold for $600 plus $30 shipping. And now let's dig into the HasLab exclusives. This was the pack-in, the Grogu pack-in for the Razor Crest with the Chrome Pram. This one sold for $80 plus free shipping. And that seems to be kind of the going rate. I've seen as low as $60, $65, maybe as high as $90. The card back on this one looked very, very clean, unpunched, and very nice looking card. I love the card image on that one. $80 free shipping took that home. And then a couple of different yak faces sold. I thought they were kind of an interesting price dichotomy here. This one was listed for $230, and it looked pretty clean overall. And, you know, one thing to keep in mind is that you can have that circular indentation on the front of the card. This one doesn't appear to have it, although it does have a very slight ding on the upper left-hand corner, but it doesn't look like there's that indentation going on in the card unless it's being masked in the photos. Pretty nice looking example of VC000 yak face, the sail barge pack-in, and that one was listed again for $230, and it was the best offer that was accepted was $215 free shipping. That's a pretty good price. That's probably the lowest I've seen for that one in a while. This was another one that sold. This one is the same one, VC000 yak face. It looked like it might either it's just some lighting or maybe just some slight scuffs above the hang tab, but I think that's just a reflection in the acrylic case. But another clean looking example there. Here's a better photo of it outside the case, but looks very, very clean. I don't see the indentation on that front of the card, which does happen, or a printing error, or whatever you want to call it. Although the blister there looks like it's got a little bit of a heat issue there. But pretty nice looking example. That one was listed for $316 plus $12.05 shipping, and that one did sell for, let's call it about $325 versus $215. You know, that's a pretty wide price change for those two that sold within a couple of days of each other. Next up was an unpunched example of VC08, the Return of the Jedi Darth Vader, with the prototype Boba Fett mail-away offer on the front, U.S. card back, very, very clean, and one bid on this one. So $195 plus $10 shipping, so let's call that about $205. Took that one home. Only one bid, but look how clean that card is. That's very, very nice looking card, and pretty gorgeous example of VC08 on the Return of the Jedi card for Darth Vader. Next up was the foil example, Revenge of the Sith Darth Sidious, and this one sold for $100 plus $11 shipping. Here it is outside of the case, kind of some dark photos, tough to see with the reflective glare there, but the blister looked pretty good. There was one little tiny crease on the upper right-hand corner, as you can see, so the seller was very kind to actually show the blemish on the card. Back of the card looked pretty good, just some minor curling there. But I think with that crease up there in the left-hand corner, you're probably talking about an 80 plus at best for it. But anyway, that one did sell for $100 plus $11 shipping. Next up is the Anakin Skywalker name pill punched example, Revenge of the Sith. This is the retail release with the mail-away rocket-firing Boba Fett offer sticker on the front, and then the paperwork inside. But this one was punched with the Anakin Skywalker sticker. We talk about this one, it seems like every single market update video. The Darth Vader name pill unpunched can go for $400 plus. But this one is the punched Anakin Skywalker. That one sold for $100 plus $550 shipping. I think that price was pretty fair, kind of in line for a punched example with the Anakin name pill. A couple of Clone Commander Codys also sold. This one looked really clean. This is the foil example of Clone Commander Cody. And look how clean that card is. Just some very, very light edge wear, but, always pretty expensive. And this one was listed for $200. The best offer that was accepted was $175 plus $940 shipping. And then there was also this one. This was obviously a punched example. We know how expensive the unpunched Clone Commander Codys go for. They can be quite pricey. I think there was one that sold here recently, and I believe to a Patreon supporter who got it unpunched. It was like $460 if memory serves. But this one did have a price sticker on the front, Myers price sticker, and it was punched, and it did have the rocket-firing Fett, but the card back was in pretty beautiful condition. Very, very light edge wear here and there to it, but beautiful VC19 retail release. This one sold for $125 on 2 bids plus $755 shipping. I thought this was a great buy. This one is VC56 Kithaba Skiff Guard, but this has the red bandana. And as we've talked about, here in North America, it's tough to find the red bandana. It can go for a lot of money. But we always get the brown bandanas over here, but very tough to find the red bandanas. Whereas overseas, if you're willing to risk overseas shipment, you can get the red bandana Kithaba for a very reasonable price. This one sold for 90 euros, which is $94.68 US dollars, plus another $18 or $19 shipping. This one was unpunched, and it had the European release blacked out stickers in the upper left and upper right, but on the back it did not have the warning sticker that goes over top the entire back of the card. So kind of an interesting variation. I guess supposedly, someone could have peeled off that warning sticker on the back, but it looks really clean. I don't see any litho tears on the back, so either someone was really, really meticulous about taking off that warning sticker on the back, or it just, never received that warning sticker on the back. So pretty interesting variation, but clearly the European release with those 4+ stickers and then the blacked out square on the upper right-hand corner. But $95 for that is a great buy, great buy. I bet if that was listed over here in the U.S., it would sell for double that price pretty easily. But really nice example of the red bandana Kithaba. Next up was a punched example, U.S. card back for VC64 Princess Leia in her slave outfit. This one did have the prototype Boba Fett offer sticker on the front. And this was the Return of the Jedi card back. This one sold over in the UK for £230, which equates to about 277 US dollars. Other than the fact that it was punched, the card itself was in fantastic condition. Really nice example, and I think it was worth every penny for that price. Next up, this price surprised me on the upper end of the scale, and this is the Sandstorm Outfit Princess Leia, kind of the Blu-ray deleted scene example. Now, this has been kind of going for between $100, $125 or so, but this one sold for $180 free shipping, and that's the highest price I've ever seen personally for VC88, the Sandstorm Leia. I'm sure that there's probably some other data points out there that are even higher than this price. I don't know, but just going on memory, it seems like that's the highest price I've seen recently for the Sandstorm Leia. And that's one that I mentioned probably 2 or 3 months ago that said, hey, this one seems to be creeping up in price, because as VC64, the Slave Leia, goes up and continues to kind of hover between $275 for unpunched, all the way up to maybe $400 for a punched, versus $400 for an unpunched. It seems like the Sandstorm Leia, people are gravitating towards that one now. But $180 is definitely the highest price I've seen here recently. Another one we talked about that continues to go up, and that's Luke Skywalker crate. It must have been short packed, but this one sold at auction, 21 bids, so a lot of action on this one. $113.50 plus $7 shipping, so that's about $120. And before, this was like $65 to $85, and I was like, wow, that seems like a lot of money. Well, now the new price seems to be $125, so big money on that one. But the card itself was in very, very clean condition. It included a star case, VC146 Luke crate. Probably not one I'm ever going to get anytime soon, just given how much that's jumped in price. But that one continues to command big money. Next up, let's talk about the 2012 SDCC Carbon Freezing Chamber. Now, obviously, this has the Jar Jar and Carbonite packed in this weird octagonal or hexagonal packaging, and this one sold at auction. So I thought this was a good data point to show. This, again, was the SDCC exclusive for 2012. This one sold for $662 plus $25 shipping. So we're talking almost $700 for this one. But given what we know that the Jar Jar and Carbonite, as pictured here, can go for, this one did appear to have maybe just a slight, some slight edge wear around the hang tab. So it was by no means mint. So keep that in mind. I mean, this alone can go, just this item alone can go for 500 plus pretty easily. And, again, it was by no means mint, probably an 80 grade at best. And again, that one still sold for $662 plus $25 shipping. But that's the first time I've seen the whole box set be auctioned off. And so it's nice to get a real data point in an auction as to what the current market value is for that one. And then let's dig into some graded items. This was an AFA 8.5 on the modern scale, unpunched example of the ARC Trooper Commander, but this was the North/South American card, as AFA labels it. I call it the Canadian card back, but at least AFA tends to call it the North/South American card back. Beautiful unpunched example. Again, it was graded 8.5 on the modern scale, so silver level AFA. That one sold for $233 plus $17 shipping. Only one bid on that one, but someone did take that home. Pretty nice example there. Next up, I thought this price was really surprising on the low end of the scale. This was an 8.5 grade on the modern scale for Ahsoka, the original issue Ahsoka, U.S. card back. That one sold for 585 Canadian dollars. So this was in Canada, not in the UK. 432 U.S. dollars is what that equates to, plus another $51 shipping. So you can call that about $490. Now, you got to remember that for a while there, earlier this year, before the reissue was announced and subsequently released, this was going for big money. I mean, over $1,000 very regularly. 90 grades were hitting something like $1,700 or $1,800. I don't know if we'll ever see that price again, but this one did sell for $432 plus 51 U.S. dollars shipping. Next up was an AFA 9.0 original issue Obi-Wan Kenobi on the Clone Wars card back. And this one, again, was 9.0, so gold level. It was not uncirculated, but this is the original 2012 issue. That one sold for $150 free shipping. I thought that was a very fair price, given that the original issue, while it's come down a little bit, it's still very desirable. Since the reissues come out, it's still a very desirable item to have in the original issue. And shout out again to a gentleman named Nick, who sent me one of these free, and it graded CAS 90. So very nice of you to do that. Next up was the Skiff Master Weequay. This was an uncirculated 9.0. Beautiful example. U.S. card back, unpunched. 9.0 again, uncirculated. So you knew that was going to go for pretty big money. It was listed for $300 US. The best offer that was accepted was $250 plus $10 shipping. So I think that price is pretty fair. For an uncirculated 9.0, it's really hard to find these nowadays uncirculated. So somebody sent in a sealed Hasbro shipper case that had this inside. They opened up the case and graded them all. And that's a beautiful example. I absolutely love that figure mold and that card back. Just really, really nice. Next up was a 9.25 uncirculated Gaming Greats Jedi Fallen Order Scout Trooper. And again, anytime it's uncirculated, you know, you can get a little bit of a premium for it. But I thought this price was very fair. This seller still has one available. 3 of them have sold for $99.99 plus $10.20 shipping. So let's call that, you know, $110 or so. It's a fairly recent release, so, you know, they're not going to command a huge premium, but pretty nice looking example, uncirculated 9.25, so it's the 90 plus grade. And then finally, we've got the Antok Merrick, which was the Target Rogue One X-Wing Fighter exclusive pack-in. It was graded 8.5 on the modern scale. That one sold for $157.50 plus $20 shipping, so let's call that about $177. This one had kind of creeped up to $130 to $140 ungraded in really clean condition. So I thought this price was more than fair, given how tough it is to find without the scratches on the front of the card back. And maybe this one has it. I don't know. It looks fairly clean, though. I don't see the scratches like mine has. But 8.5, that's probably a pretty fair deal for an already graded item. You got to account for grading costs and shipping to and from AFA. To get it for $177, that's pretty good, given what this can go for ungraded. Anyway, that's all I really had for this video. I hope you enjoyed this look at both graded and ungraded items, mint and sealed box vehicles, as well as that awesome SDCC 2012 exclusive box set. Thanks again for watching, and I'll be back soon.